Welcome to the Dragon's Tome, number 47 of the ongoing adventure of us going through every Dragon magazine chronologically. And we're up to 47. It is March 1980. And the cover is A Lizard Rider by John Bloomin. Bloomin' Onion. It's a sexy lizard rider. Any comments on the sexy lizard rider?
I like this cover.
Yeah, I do. We're moseying into the Vallejo era now, so.
I would like to ask, see all those spikes across his back?
How is she sitting astride a creature with that many spikes?
She's sitting in between them. God.
She's enjoying her ride. Anyways.
She's not even sitting. Look, her leg is underneath her.
Yeah, she is kind of side-saddling it to one side of the spikes. You can see her thigh turns down to her calf underneath her buttocks.
I'm more concerned with the fact that she doesn't have any toes.
Oh. Well, I think this is kind of like a expressionism, would you say, Rob, where the details aren't as important as the effect of the colors and the...
I believe it's about the color play between the scales and the moons, or the planets, moons.
Oh, definitely that guy had his palette out, his color wheel, and went, okay, because I do like this. I like all the choices. It's,
yeah, actually, the more you look at it, it's got some choices. I like the little squigglies he does to imply sheen to the lizard. It's very nice. Very nice.
Are you saying the lizard is moist?
I think he's more like metallic. That's what I get the feeling. Oh. He's a fantasy lizard.
He's a metal lizard.
Almost like, that pearlescent. I think he's pearlescent.
Like an iridescent?
Iridescent. Very good word.
Incandescent?
No.
He is a light bulb as well.
He doesn't glow. Yeah, so that's good. Dragon Rumbles, I get to go first because I always go first. This is where the rubber hits the road, as we implied a few episodes ago, when Robert Plemondon wrote the right way to get published article. We were wondering, was he in on the joke, or did Kim take advantage of him? And this seems he writes a letter to the editor, and it seems like he's mad, or is it supposed to be funny? It's hard to tell. He blasts Kim Mohan for the kind of, but then he backpedals a bit, and it doesn't seem, I can't tell if he's serious. And it does seem the editor notes were added after the original author didn't know about it. And even Kim doesn't know how to take it. He rebuts the letter. He claims he isn't a nasty little man, as Robert portrays him. He says that he's just blunt, and then he savages the original author and shows he's just a nasty little man. So that's what I have about this. Did you guys read this little exchange?
I did.
Do you think Robert was serious? That's my question.
I don't know. I somewhat think he is, probably because the way it sounds is that that Kim guy put his article in there that he wrote a while ago, it sounds like. And then just completely hammered it and then used him as a what not to do because this guy's an idiot kind of a thing.
It's, yeah. Robert doesn't seem happy. What about you, Jack? Do you think he's in on it?
My take was this was a continuation of the same joke that they were doing in the article, like
about complaining to the editor about.
I think that would be, it's like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if? But
it only works if they're really good friends, because otherwise it doesn't work.
It's true.
We don't have the context. We don't have the, this is a depiction of two office mates having a spat. I assume that it's because they're two buddies who probably are 2 cubicles away from each other having a,
Well, it's not like he hasn't written stuff for Dragon before this, Plumondon.
No, but he's not he doesn't work at TSR, so he isn't an employee. He's just a freelancer, but...
Right.
But, yeah. The question is, the real answer to this, if we keep and see if he ever publishes another article in the magazine. I think that would be the answer. If he never publishes it again, we know it was serious.
Have to make a conscious effort.
Yeah.
If next week we hear about him working at Burrows and Badgers or whatever it is, or one of the other magazines, we'll know.
Yep. Yeah. So that's Dragon Rumbles. I still think Kim is a nasty little man, no matter what this is about. We'll start with Pat. Pat, what's your first article?
My first article would be to go to page Dose.
I don't speak your freaky language. Yes?
Leomund's Tiny Hut.
Oh.
Are we all looking at that?
Yes.
I figured it out, even though you're speaking your freaky deaky language.
Because Rob was being...
Facetious?
was being bewildered.
I was being nasty.
So, A Thief, a special look by our good friend Leonard. He takes a very in-depth look at this thief class, taking it up all apart.
In-depth is one word, yeah, because he goes on quite a while.
Yeah, he takes it all apart, the abilities, and gives a nice explanation on what is best for the thieves and how you should find and set remove traps for them and whatever sort of thing, when to hide in shadows kind of thing. It just goes on forever.
He does in-depth analysis. That's what he does.
Yeah, he does. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think it's the expanded explanation that would be in the original, the player's handbook if they had infinite space. It's answering all the questions. It's doing all the things that if you had all the room in the world in the player's handbook, that it would be there. But it is a considerable amount of information.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good at that. He does this quite often.
Setting traps and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, percent chances and stuff. Yeah. So that's Len. Always, he seems like an in-depth guy. Like he likes to get into the minutia of things. That's what I've learned from his tiny huts. His tiny huts are like TARDISes because they're big on the inside.
And that has nothing to do, that reference, with the Tom Baker picture on that same page?
Tom Baker picture? Where? Oh, down the ad, yeah. That's funny. Never even saw it. Doctor Who. It was a coincidence. Jack,
or subliminal.
Or subliminal, yes. Jack, what's your first articula?
Let's scamper back up to page 6. We're going to be looking at Out on a Limb. Now, not the whole thing, obviously. We're going to go to the right-hand side. Right above tomfoolery, there's something called retirement. And basically, we've addressed this in many, many articles through Dragon Magazine so far, where people say, well, what do you do with a high-level character? Like, what do you do? You've reached near godhood. You're deified now. Nothing can stop you. And the answer is always, well, I'll just stick them in a trap that they can't escape, and they're dead, and we can move on. This guy, Fred Kane, from Indianapolis, Indiana. I've never seen Indiana shortened by IND. Usually it's ID. I don't know. Pat, is that? No,
it's Indiana's IN. ID is Idaho.
Anyways, it's usually 2, not 3.
And before, in the early days, back in the 80s, there used to be 3. Illinois used to be ILL. Indiana used to be IND.
Yeah, it's a new thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at a kind of an archaic Americanization of
like Michigan was MICH, Tennessee was TENN.
Crazy.
Anyways, Mr. Kane here said that for the higher player characters, the problem isn't that the DM needs to eradicate them, that it's that they have to die. He said, retire the character. You've been playing as a high level, clearly for long enough that you've reached godhood. Start a first level character.
Yeah, I think that's the easy solution.
Start again. Give the guy a decent story arc ending, or come to the conclusion that it's time to move on. Make new characters and start at the beginning, and you've already lost a lot of the magic of scrambling around. It's like starting Fallout, a game of Fallout, when you can't even get a handgun and a couple shells, and you're like, oh my god, you're struggling. The joys of that come back again. So
at the end, you're just one-shotting big monsters.
Yeah, you got your VATS system, and you're just headshotting everyone gets in the way, trying to stop you from blowing up, using that giant bomb to blow up a settlement. So yeah, that was my article. So a reasonable person here who thought of the story arc rather than the antagonistic DM versus players. Only one can leave the arena.
One man enters, or two men enter, one man leaves.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, my article is on page 26 of the PDF. The Merry Month of Myrtle?
Oh, that's my article.
Really?
Would you like to join in, Pat?
Sure.
I just want to say this is Ed Greenwood. It's Forgotten Realms calendar. So This is Forgotten Realms starting.
That's why I picked this article, because I liked Forgotten Realms so much. I thought it was a cool article that he writes, lets you in his head on his creation, Forgotten Realms, like he made a calendar.
Yep. Are we going to use the word cool for this? And can I bring up a new,
I don't know if we call it cool.
Can I bring up a new function of this here vlog, this video podcast, this thing that we do, where I could just veto this because I was so bored by this? Like, could I right now, like if I had a gavel, could I just say no?
No, but
it's pretty short.
But you could voice your disapproval.
You're not happy about his... He just took our calendar and just made it, fantasized it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my silence will speak volumes of this article.
Your silence will just make you think you like it.
Oh.
And he added different festivals in between certain months. It's fun times, Jack. Yeah. Why are you so angry? Why?
Because this was a pretty light. This whole issue was pretty light on things.
I'm not going to disagree with you there, though.
To discuss, and this seemed like a I don't know, filler, and I expect more from Mr. Greenwood. When we play Dungeon together, I will say, hey, you know what?
You just ruined it for us. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, now you just said his work is crap.
Thanks, Jack.
I did. I just scuttled our chance to meet.
Well, Ed, we'll play Dungeon. You can still play Dungeon with us, but Jack won't be allowed.
Fight him. Jack, what is your next? Or no, Pat, I guess.
We'll keep the curtains open so Jack can look inside through the window.
And have a single tear because he wishes he could have been there if he wasn't such a jerk about his calendar.
I do not have any more articles. Like Jack, this was very thin on reading for me.
Jack, do you have any more articles?
Mm-mm.
Really? I got tons.
Really?
We're going to 66. Figuratively speaking. It's a whole new article here, people. You don't want to talk about figuratively speaking?
No, I don't.
I didn't even pick this because I couldn't even see the miniatures.
Hey, this is better pictures than we usually get.
Yeah.
Not really. They say it's like high quality pictures. But figs are rated by the author on proportion, detail, animation, technical quality. And the thing I want to talk about is the Wizards and Lizards on page 67. He explains that Wizards and Lizards was sculpted by former MLB player Ray Lamb. A former baseball player sculpted Wizards and Lizards.
Ray Lamb, huh?
He's a former Major League Baseball pitcher. He was a pitcher. Pitchers are flaky, so it makes sense. He's now a sculptor for Wizards and Lizards, and it rhymes. I can't see
unless
the pictures.
He's Raleigh Fingers, it's dead to me.
And there is a Dungeon Builders. It's a wall set. So we're just talking about new 3D things. There's wall sets. So, anyways, that's figuratively speaking. I'm amazed you guys didn't want to talk about the main thing in this book, which is on page 31, I believe. Crime Fighters, a whole RPG in the middle of this magazine. A full RPG.
Yeah.
Jeez, Jack, you've lost the luster. And it comes with its own module, even.
Yeah, it was just so...
You guys, what is wrong with you guys? On page, what about the 52? It's the history of the pulps, which I found very interesting. From the 30s to the 40s. It's about the pulps.
So, between the three of us, pulp era crime fighting, like say, like the Phantom or some of those things, was that ever something you were into or anything like that? Like, was radio play style crime fighting?
The Shadow, man. Yes. The Shadow knows, Jack. You make me sick.
Green Hornet.
That was
Kato.
Okay. For me, it was I didn't have any love of it, or
they're the reasons that superheroes exist.
Yeah, and I think if I did, maybe the references and it would play better to an audience that appreciated the source material, which I didn't. So
well,
I'll admit I'm in the wrong on this.
Well, it's not your thing. But anyways, the Pulp Heroes, the Paper Heroes article, though, it's very interesting because it compares the early 30s to the 80s and the renewed interest in pulp. But because of, he's saying it's because of economics are on a downturn, just like in the 30s. Although he says Reagan might help. Well, we'll see.
Reagan helped.
He did help at the cost of the social safety net, but he did help.
He also compares the rise of gangsters in the 30s to terrorists in the 80s, and even racism in the pulps is back in the early 80s, now targeting Arabs because of certain crises. And my question is, does any of this sound familiar? And is the pulps due for a comeback? Because this sounds very familiar to me. Economic downturn, rise of racism, we have various targets to attack. Yes, and I think maybe that explains why superhero movies are so popular now. Maybe that's could be. I think this guy's onto something. Bryce Knorr.
It's unfortunate that he didn't live to see his theory come back around for a third time.
The world is cyclical, and I think the pulps are also cyclical, including superheroes. And he did say World War II ended the pulps due to paper shortages, but there was also real heroes coming back from the war. So they kind of replaced these non-superheroes as the favorites, because why look up to Doc Savage when you have the real heroes coming back. But very interesting article, and I was glad I read it. It was probably the most interesting article I've ever read in this magazine. So
that's a bold statement.
It is bold indeed. Other than that, anybody got any ads?
I didn't have any ads, actually.
Jack does? Excellent.
I do. If we want to go down to page 75 of the PDF.
Look at that beautiful picture.
Encounter the Bronze Dragon.
Why couldn't the article all about figures have pictures that well done?
Sculpted by Montana artist Neil Kettlewell. This cast in bronze. It's a species of dragon that he made up. Blah 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 blah.
It's a mutant species.
Now, without reading it, how much would you pay for this miniature? Without reading, how much would you?
Pat would pay between $9 and $999.
No, I would probably pay $6 for this miniature.
It's bronze. Like
it's made out of bronze.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. It's got to cost more than that. I would say $50. $50. I wouldn't pay it, but I think that's what they'd ask.
I don't think I would buy this figure at all. Honestly.
No, I wouldn't either. But
gun to your head, Patrick. Or what would you pay? What would
in '81? I would have probably paid $150.
Okay, Pat going bold. Pat going bold. Let's roll down here and see how much he's charging for to get one shipped from Missoula. $750. They pay the shipping, so like, come on, it's a deal at twice the price.
Well, how much does that weigh in bronze, right?
This either has to be a giant chunk of metal.
That's $2,400 in today's money.
Well, what would be 150?
150? Quite a bit less. That's crazy. Like, you're advertising that in a magazine. That's maybe at the, what do they have, those those commercials where they had the something Franklin Mint? Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'd start a collection of plates.
Plates and horribly sculpted dragons. Because we'd have to have this dragon with the Kung Fu dragon.
This is...
I thought this was going to be my new Kung Fu dragon. I was like, okay, I'm going to, mine that old bit back up, get my pith helmet on and go digging. And then I saw the price and I said, there's
5 inches tall. It's not even that big. 5 inches is like, it's not huge.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination.
Pat, it would be $480 is $150, so that's still quite a bit. That is crazy.
But he only made 1,000 of them.
1,000. So he's expecting to get $7,500. So it's like,
So yes,
no, $75,000 from this. There's 1,000. No, more than that. That's Jesus.
Yeah. Add those 2 more zeros on there.
Jesus. $75,000 he's expecting from this goddamn thing.
So how much would that be by today's standards?
Like $1 million.
He wanted to be a millionaire.
I wonder if he sold any. Do you think anybody bought one?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe not. Who knows? But Neil Kettlewell, God bless you for swinging for the fences.
Exactly.
Really, maybe he's like super famous. Let's look him up.
You put it out there. You said, you know what? I'm going bold. I've created what, by today's standards, is a child's art project, like a high school aged art project. You're going to cast it out of bronze and charge an exorbitant amount. $750 at this time. I believe that's what my dad paid for his truck fresh off the lot, brand new. In and around there. It was.
That's how much you paid for a Betamax?
It was in and around like what a Ford truck cost off the lot. So
Neil Kettlewell, there is a bronze statue of Tom Seaver, the pitcher, that's on currently on Barnaby's auctions. But this guy didn't come up anywhere. But
this didn't. At no point this Sotheby's got one going for.
Sotheby's.
Well, that's my ad. A Kung Fu Dragon-esque sculpture that would have been.
Pat, you should look it up on eBay. See if you can buy one.
I'm going to see if Games Plus doesn't have it, then it never really existed.
Ah, I see. Anybody have anything else for this magazine?
No. I'm tapped.
Okay, then everyone, please join us next week for another exciting episode of The Dragon's Tome. Like, share, subscribe. Join us on Facebook. Join us on Twitter. You can find us there. Other than that, anything else you want to say, guys, before we leave for another week?
No.
Don't buy this dragon.
Thanks for joining us. We love you all. And
Jack, do you want to apologize to a certain Ed that lives in the audience?
If I had to apologize for every off-color or just tangentially bizarre thing I ever said, that would be its own. That would be it. It would just be me apologizing for the episode before, and then we might look at the cover of the Dragon magazine. Like, I can't do that.
You can't start a precedent now?
No,
I understand.
No, I'd be wearing a hair shirt every episode.
Let's just say it's take it as taciturn that Jack apologizes every time he says something wrong. Just imagine in your head that he apologized right afterwards.
That's right.
That covers
That's
all
right.
the bases.
It's always in the show notes, so just go down there. Everything I apologize for. It's quite the. Some would call it a manifesto, but
You have to join our Patreon to see his list of show notes.
That's right.
Anyways, until next time, I've been Rob.
I'm Jack.
Some Cokes over there.
Tried to do it.
I like
back.
those.
We'll be back, and I apologize